The charge of Christian nationalism has been thrown around quite a bit lately. Much more often than not, it's a term used by leftist organizations to fundraise through fear. The Southern Poverty Law Center has its mostly made-up hate map, which lumps traditional Christians in with the Ku Klux Klan in order to soak its elderly liberal donors who don't actually know any Christians for money. And the label Christian nationalism now largely serves the same purpose. It's almost never defined, so the implication is left that it means there's a movement afoot to have adulterers stoned at the city gate. But when you look closer, you discover that what it often means is simply the role Christianity had in America before the heirs of Karl Marx began overthrowing it in the mid-20th century. For instance, recently a new organization announced itself called Christians Against Christian Nationalism. A closer look reveals that it's headed by a liberal woman who opposes conservatism in the Southern Baptist Convention and was a staffer for a strongly pro-abortion congressman. They sent out a feverish fundraising letter warning that the state of Texas was flirting with Christian nationalism. How? Because it was considering putting chaplains in public schools. If that's Christian nationalism, then Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and the first United States Congress, among many others, were so-called Christian nationalists. The Northwest Ordinance said, religion, morality, and knowledge being necessary to good government and the happiness of mankind, schools and the means of education shall forever be encouraged. In other words, part of the purpose of schools, according to our first government under our Constitution, was to propagate religion and morality. But these historical facts are of no consequence to Christians Against Christian Nationalism or any of the other groups yelping about Christian nationalism. It's about raking in money and pushing Christians who don't know their history into silence for fear of being branded with a derogatory label. Bible-believing Christians can have a fruitful debate among ourselves on what the proper role of biblical law in civil governance is. But make no mistake, if you believe that God's word applies everywhere and that the civil magistrate is responsible to God, you are a Christian nationalist to those who hate Christianity and profit off of fear. Don't play their game. Rather than being embarrassed into silence and inaction, stand strong like our Christian forebears who settled and founded this country, the freest, most prosperous nation in human history, and say with them, Jesus Christ is Lord of all.